The motion for today's debate is college degree is necessary for success in life. As usual, we have two teams, and before we decide which team is going to speak for which side of the motion, we will get done with what is called as pre-debate polling. We have 5 to 6 judges, and these judges, even before we decide which team gets to decide for speak for which team, which side of the motion, will vote for or against the motion. And once that is done, we'll have a flip of a coin, and this is going to help us determine which person, which team will speak for which side of the motion. Once this is done, the side that is going to speak in favor of the motion will obviously be called the proposition team, and the team which speaks against the motion will be called the opposition side. Now, there are going to be 3 rounds in our debates as usual. The first round is called the introduction round. The second round is called the interjection round, and the third round is called the conclusion round. Now, this time we just have 2 debaters from each team. So we have made a tweaks here and there. So this is how it's going to work out this time. We'll have 1 person each from each team speaking during the introduction round, and he or she will get to speak for 5 minutes. And once the first round is done, we'll have a 5-minute strategic break, during which all the 4 people will be sent to 2 different breakout rooms, and that is when they come up with what is it that they want to put across in the next round. And during the second round, that is the interjection round, 2 people, I mean to say both the participants from each team will get to speak. And after this round is done, we'll have a 3-minute strategic break, will be sent to the breakout rooms again, and that is when, after this particular break thing is done, they'll come back to the main meeting room and they'll give their concluding arguments. And this is how, and after this whole thing is done, we'll have a Q&A round, and each team can get posed a maximum of 2 questions, and the debaters cannot ask questions to the opposite team. Now, once this entire thing is done, we'll have a post-debate polling. And what do I mean by this? I'm going to send the voting link to all the 5, 6 judges who have initially voted, and they will vote again. They'll vote again for or against the motion. And once that is done, we will calculate the swing of the vote, if there has been any persuasion from one side to the other side, and that is going to help us determine which team is the winner team. Now, these are the timing rules, since we have made a few changes here and there. Introduction round will show green at 3, 4 yellow, and 5 you will be muted. Interjection round, 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 muted. Conclusion round, 3 green, 4 yellow, 5 muted. Now, that is how we are going to go about the timing, showing the timer cards. Okay, so Prasad sir, you have won the toss.
So we go for the motion.
Sure, done. Pawan, would you like to go first in a speaking order or second in speaking order?
We'll go second in the speaking order.
Sure, which means that the proposition team, that is Prasad sir's team, will go first, and your team will be the opposition team, and your team will go second.
Good evening, everyone. I am here to support the motion that college degrees are indeed necessary for success in life. I'd like to share with all of you some statistics, basic statistics. India has about 1,000 plus universities, 55,000 higher education institutions that produce 7 million undergraduates and 1.5 million postgraduates every year. Now, if you have a large population and a whole lot of people are aspiring to be someone, what is the best parameter? How best do you assure everyone of certain standards that you as a country are following? I think a college degree, in my personal opinion, and the generic opinion for that matter, is a college degree is proof of a structured education that is provided to a college student. It assures all people who are looking for employable graduates of a particular standard and criteria that a candidate would meet. Let's assume you want to be a doctor, a student who is aspiring studying, he wants to become a doctor, he wants to become a surgeon, he wants to become, let's say, a high court lawyer or a judge. If you want to become a person in administration, for example, IAS, IPS, or IFS, I am myself, I'm a cost accountant. My fellow person also with me, Prasanna, is also a homeopathic doctor. Now, how many of us, all of us who aspire to be successful in life, a college degree is a must and absolute must-have criteria based on which you can gain the confidence, or rather, you come out into the world sharing that these are your skills, this is what you can do best because you've been trained to do so. There's a structured method that you have followed, and you're capable of, you have the skills required to provide certain services which your end, the company that you work for, the business that you represent can provide to the person who's going to pay you for it. Imagine a scenario where you are in a village, you've gone for traveling or probably on a trip, and you go to a village and you are told, let's say that, God forbid, you fell off your bike and your kind of leg got twisted, and now you need to go to a hospital. What would you look for? You would look for a qualified doctor. Would you let anybody who walked into the door touch you without knowing whether he or she is a qualified doctor? It is the degree that a person has that gives you the assurance and allows you to place your trust in that person so that he or she can provide you the required service. There are many people who would come and say that, if you were to make a career out of doing what you love, you won't have to work a single day in your life. But probably the only person who has achieved that I know of is Mother Teresa. But can something like that be a template for everybody to follow? I doubt not. I think a degree is a must if you want to achieve something in life, if you want to be able to, if you want to convince the world out there that you are able to do something, you are able to prove yourself, a basic degree is a must. Without a degree, you are probably a person who can only say probably that you have quote unquote certain skills, but you have nothing to show for it, nothing to prove that. With that, I would like to rest my case and look forward to operation as to what they have to say on that.
Friends, judges, and my dear audience, let me take a quick survey. Give me a thumbs up if you are successful in your life. Okay. Now, give me a thumbs up if you have a college degree. Yes, thank you. I believe all of you are having at least one of the college degrees in your life. Now, if you observe, all the participants here are college degree holders, and they think they are not successful yet. What could be the reason? It is just because you need something else to be successful, and it is not necessarily be a college degree. Well, it is not only me. It is not only me who is saying this. In a survey carried out by international research firm YouGov, commissioned by LinkedIn, has found that Indians define success as being happy and healthy. LinkedIn said when asked to choose from multiple options, 72% Indians choose being happy as their ultimate definition of success. 65% choose good health and 50% pick healthy work-life balance as important indicators of success. Well, then, despite of this, why we gave that unnecessary attention to a college degree to become a successful? Let me tell you, let me take you all to somewhat history. Till late 1800s, access to right information was the toughest problem our country was facing. Then to make the information structured in different fields, slowly, thanks to the education institutions built by Britishers, our Indian socialists, and even the government, people started actually going to schools and colleges. Then the educated people who were going to college were considered to be successful because those were the very few who could make it to work in government organizations or even private organizations, which can pay them really well. So that was the thing of the past. But now, in this generation, that digital era, anyone in our country can access the right information just by a click of just by a click. You can access all the related books through PDF formats, and the thousands of courses are there in the MOOC platforms. So you can definitely become a skilled person in your own profession, and you can make the livelihood. It is not necessarily to get the college degree to make your livelihood and become successful. For example, even the last year Tesla announced that college degree is not necessary to apply their company. Tesla, which is considered to be the top tech company in the world, taking it as an inspiration, probably perhaps maybe even the other companies in future may follow the trend and offer jobs to those without college degree and which are skilled enough. But you may argue that okay, this trend might take several years to follow, and we cannot afford to all the graduates still wait there. You might be having a point. Even then, we don't have a problem. You can become a freelancer and start finding opportunities in digital platforms like LinkedIn, Freelancer, Upwork, Fiverr, etc. Many entrepreneurs are college dropouts and they don't have college degree. Even they are firm believers of the practical learning over bookish knowledge. For example, even if you talk about India, we have a great entrepreneurs like Ritesh Agarwal, who founded Oyo, Kunal Shah, who founded Cred, and even the international entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Bill Gates. So all these people, they have started their own career in their teenage. So they did not wait for the college degree to complete, and they did not invest lots of lakhs of rupees in those worthless college degrees. So to start their own company and to be successful, and that in turn means to be become happy. So that is one thing. So my dear friends, let's not make our next generation repeat the same mistake that we did. Let them don't run after the college degree, and let them not invest all those lakhs of rupees who were striving really hard to get that one worthless seat in that random college. And those like what the opponent mentioned, we have 55,000 universities, out of which I am humbly asking out of those 55,000 which are truly worthy. We have very less number of colleges who are really worthy. So rather than that, they can be skilled with other cheaper and best option and can save a lot of time and money. They can make their livelihood and they can achieve whatever they want. They don't need to. They don't need a college degree to be successful. So that is from my side, and over to moderator.
There was a very famous movie called Diwar, in which Amitabh Bachchan has his spectacular dialogue, powerful dialogue. मेरे पास गाड़ी है, बंगला है, नौकर, चाकर. And he says that he's so successful. Now, if you were to take success as having these trappings, these material trappings, having a gadi, bangla, or servants and stuff like that, then I agree that you may not need a college degree. You may be successful as a businessman, you may make your money, you may buy things, etc. But suppose you have a dream, okay? From childhood, you have a dream of being a police officer or a doctor or a surgeon or an astronaut. These are things that require a certain training, a formal training over an extended period of time. And that is available only through a college. So to be successful, to realize your dreams, you have to follow that path. You see, you can't just join the IAS, IFS, or become an astronaut or a surgeon by just this thing, by just wishing or doing some online course. You cannot. Now, our friend Pawan, he told, being happy and healthy. Now, the point is that most people struggle to get a job. They're not, the average man is not some brilliant Steve Jobs or Dhirubhai Ambani. Okay. Most people are average, and the way for them to make their ends meet, to be happy and healthy, which is his definition of success, is to get a job. And the simplest way to get a job is to get a degree, a college degree, and then apply for jobs everywhere in India. He says if you remove private and government, we can do many other things. Private and government are the majority of the things. Now, it's one thing to talk theoretically and say, we can do online courses and all that. Would you want your kids to do online courses? and try and make it a success in life. Even people like Dhirubhai Ambani, he sent his kids to Harvard and Stanford. Same with Bill Gates. So many of these very, very successful people, they feel the need to send their kids to get college degrees. And how are they successful? By employing people who are trained in colleges. All these people run their businesses using college degrees. So one way or the other, a college degree is required to make a success. Now, if you say a worthless seat in a terrible college and all that, if that is what you're capable of, getting a worthless seat in a terrible college, you're not capable of getting in a good college, then even in business, you're going to be a miserable flop. I can assure you, you're not going to be some scintillating next Steve Jobs with your, with that kind of ability that you can't even get a good seat in a decent college. You're going to make it a mess out there. So
I would like to start by rebutting a few points. A college degree is a proof of structured education. Well, can you really relate a piece of paper to term education? Education means a lot. It is a very wide, it's a very wide term. It includes your skill set, it includes your mindset, it includes the learnings that you receive. But can you say now a piece of paper is a proof of structured education? Well, no, it's just a proof that you have spent 3 to 5 years and have achieved the minimum 33%, 33 passing, and you have received that piece of paper. Now, next thing which I feel, does the college degree provides you confidence? Well, no, college degree doesn't provide you confidence. It's the learnings which provide you confidence. It's the knowledge that you have provides you confidence. Coming to the points to add to the speech, well, consider me as a law student. I am spending 5 years to get a degree, but I recently got to know that the whole procedure code is going to be amended. That means by the time I complete my degree in next 2 to 3 years, my studies are out to date. That means after 5 years, I have to spend again 3 years on self to learn that. Just because there is a constructive idea that I need to have a college degree. Now, people will talk about online exams and knowledge. Well, we have seen a lot many rallies going on where people said they want to get online exams. Do you trust me that can this be equated to the learnings people have or the knowledge that people are receiving? Now, if you talk about the education and the expense of paying in good colleges, did you know that there are just talking about two industries, nursing and engineering? There is about 8,263 crores of in 3.5 lakhs, so 3.5 bank accounts, which are termed as non-performing assets, just in two industries. And the next last point, which I want to say is, just imagine that you are learning right now what a teacher learned 20 years back. Just imagine the scenario. He is already giving you out of date information, and then after you complete your graduation in next 3 to 5 years, this is again all out of date, and then you have to study everything on your own self. Can you say that the college degree provides structured education? Well, I feel at the end you have to study on your own. So does it mean that a college degree and a high school degree
Yeah, I would like to rebut some of the points that my honorable opposition member spoke. I really didn't get that point about how education getting outdated. I am a cost accountant, or for that matter, even anybody who does his commerce degree, he can go and update accounts for any businessman, and that is based on the knowledge he or she got in the college. He has that confidence to take that job and do that job. Probably he would need some amount of handholding in terms of which books, and a certain amount of handholding is required for anybody who joins in a new job, which is called training for that particular organization, because he or she on day one will not know who are the customer accounts and vendor accounts for that matter, or which particular expense account has to be debited. Right? That doesn't mean you have to start from scratch. It doesn't have to be taught the language of accounting. So I think my opposition members kindly confusing with what's called orientation with basic training. So I think they need to get the facts right. Talking of content in education getting updated, yes, there are areas where I would agree that content in education has to be updated, but that's a different point altogether. Here we're talking of whether degrees are. So I think your opposition is trying to confuse the judges and the audience with the need for how good is that education. We're not really talking about that. That's absolutely not the point here. So let's not confuse the audience, or try to give a pitch here that the education standards are so and so and they need to be updated every 3 months, 6 months. Let's not, like the audience knows what they're talking about. The audience understands very clearly. Here you're talking about, can you have a doctor? Can you have a lawyer? Can you have a person whom you put your you trust your life with for various aspects, be it the financial aspect, the health aspect, or even for that matter, whether you're going to be in or out of, let's say, some civil offenses, somebody is kind of complained against you, whether you would trust yourself with people who do not have a degree, who have probably put on the internet and read a few pages, made some notes, and they've come to represent you. Would you want such a person to represent you in that courtroom, on that operation table, or anywhere for that matter where your money is involved? You would not. I would not. None of our listeners would like to. There I rest my case. Back to you.
Well, those were the really wonderful points from my worthy opponents. But I would like to counter argue for a couple of points. First, both the opponents talked about a couple of only limited professions such as doctor, officer, astronaut, only couple of these three. I will tell you why these three are not particularly, you cannot become those without a college degree. So in nowadays, if you can you become a software developer without a college degree? You can. Can you become an accountant without a college degree? You can. Can you become a stockbroker without a college degree? You can. Because for all these things, you have courses which are well structured in all the MOOC platforms such as Udemy, Coursera, all these things. But can you become a doctor without a college degree? You cannot. That is because it's pure business. Do you know? Of course, you definitely know what is the cost involved becoming a doctor in India. It's definitely not less than 1 crore. That's why most of the Indians, they are flying to other countries like Ukraine, China, just to do their doctors and all those things. So because of this business involved, most of the corporates or the main all those universities, they are not letting people to do make the available content very cheap and the low. So that is the reason involved becoming a doctor and all those things, which was addressed by most of the time by the opponents. So that is next point that I would address is I was saying just because you are worthy opponent, so if you cannot get that worthless seat, you are not allowed to become a successful in the business. So that is one thing that I would like to humbly opponent, because just because I cannot remember those Newton's laws, you cannot say that I will not become a good businessman. So those are completely interrelated. In one of the interview, the very famous Kunal Shah, who was the founder of Cred, he said, I was terribly, felt bad during my education, but I became a successful businessman. So there are so many businessmen such that who maybe terribly failed in their education, but they have successfully, become successful in their business. So those are completely interlinked, mutually exclusive. So this is the second point that I would like to make. Fourth, so the one thing that I would like to tell you is, so in India, every year, 6 million people graduates are coming out of the country. But if you see, this is the hiring rate across the years. So if you spend lakhs of money just because there is only 26% of chances to get hired, I don't think so. I will not allow my kid to become a college degree graduate and all those things, because the chances are very low. And whatever the chances that we have, so those are only because of the corporates and all those things. So that is the fourth point that I would like to make. So that's it from my side. I would like to, so one more profession that Prasad sir mentioned about the police officer. So that is, so if to become a police officer, you don't have to need about the semiconductors, all those electrical equipment, and those things. You just have to be physically fit and all those things. The things that we learn from the college, so they will not test about that. So they will just teach you all those.
My opponents made certain points which I felt were sort of irrelevant almost. So you say that medicine is an expensive profession. You go to college, you spend crores of rupees. What is the alternative? So it is expensive. So let's not have doctors. Is that what you're trying to say? I'm personally offended. You have to pay. Why is it expensive? There is a reason for it. It's a prolonged course. Each year, there are experts teaching you. You need a body to dissect. You need so many things, and it cannot be done in some online course or something like that. It takes that much time. Somebody was saying that the knowledge gets outdated. Not the human anatomy, not the physiology. She herself is a lawyer. When you study law, the process of thinking, how you think, what is justice, these are universal principles. Then in law, you need the precedents. What happened 10 years back is very relevant to today. You say in that judgment, this happened. And so I would call that. So actually, it's not like some matrix or something where you sit and put some electrodes and everything comes inside of you. There is no option. You need to go through a long process taught by experts. Now, somebody says some professions and businesses don't require degrees. I agree with you. So there are a few, and even in those, when you say software and all that, how do most people get into those jobs? It is through degrees. So when you have a college degree, you can do that, and you can also do these things. You can become an astronaut. You can become a lawyer. You can become a Supreme Court judge. You say that, oh, the police doesn't need you to do this. It only requires to do running and all that. You're talking about the constable Havaldar level. When you talk about a DGP, you see, that's the level that I talk from. At the higher levels, you have to go through the IPS. You have to go through some very, very tough exams. You say, oh, a piece of paper with 33% pass mark. I hope she doesn't take up a HR position, because you see 33% in your accept. No, you see, you have certain requirements. You say, okay, I want 80%, and I want from this college. I want from IIM Ahmedabad. So these are the things. That paper has a value. The IIM Ahmedabad thing has a value. You see, those papers, you need to look at them. Otherwise, a paper is a paper. You can just say, I don't know what to do. But the intelligence that you use to look at that paper, where is that paper coming from? Who has attested? Who has, given this person a stamp of authority to say that this guy is an FRCS from Edinburgh? That paper has a value. Now, if you just say any paper doesn't give you a value, oh no, not at all. In fact, all over the world, we are looking at these papers and we are giving them huge salaries because that paper has a definite value. You come and say, I am very good at this. I wouldn't accept it. So let's not. And finally, somebody said, I will not put my child in a college. I don't believe you. I end my case.
Well, I am not interested in being an HR. I am interested in being what makes me happy and what makes me successful. Why should I go and become an HR if it's not what I want? And it's neither what my field demands. Right. So when we talk about it's a piece of paper and it's from IIM Ahmedabad, well, do you not think Like people might have a lot many compassions and they get into various colleges, into very high colleges. But do you really think that they can be equated to the knowledge or the information that they have? See, people would like to become doctors, lawyers, but how do you even go and find a doctor and lawyer? Do you just go to any random hospital or to any person sitting in the court and ask them to be a doctor and lawyer just because they have a college degree? No, right? You go to them just because some of your relatives suggested you that they are so good, they have so well experienced, they are working in the field for 10, 15 years. And then you go to them and you ask them, do you have a college degree? Do you have a college degree from Harvard? Do you have a college degree from Stanford? I am not saying this. Think about your situation. Do you go and do you ask that? Do you even look at the wall that a person is proudly hanging about the certificates? Then let me tell you, 50% of the people do not. And I am amongst that person. Well, let me tell you one thing which is specifically. Today, being myself a college student, I have more pressure of exams and getting that 33% than actually learning. And I'm studying at a very prestigious college. I don't want to name that college because that wouldn't be fair. But let me tell you one more thing, or actually ask you one more thing. Do you go to a lawyer or a doctor or a DCP or to someone who is a very professional field and ask them, do you really went to college or not? Just imagine a scenario which happened in the movie Suits. 90% of the 90% of the people who were his client did not even ask, did you have a valid degree or not? It was later find out through any other source, through some other sources. Let me come to one more point specifically. If you're studying at such prestigious colleges, do you not think that there will be so much student loan and debt and the investment that you make is equal to the outcome? When there is only 26% of people who are getting the jobs. There is around 8,263 crores of non-performing assets just on two industries. Now, do you think that it is worth? If I tell you one thing which is very secret, there is a hike of 200% in education economically in the past 20 years. But when the inflation rate is just it is more than the inflation rate by 145%. Just imagine, this is the extra expense that you are giving by studying at so good colleges. I am not saying these studies are saying this. Also, when you study at a college, there is no guarantee. Now, your life depends on the actions that you take. If you are really determined, if you really want to be Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, then you know that you have to take a step. And even at college, no one is going to spoon feed you. I am talking about my personal experience. No one spoon feeds me. It's me who take that step that I want to learn. So, if you are a college student or a self-learner, it's you who take action. And that's when I rest my case. That's you who take action and no one else is going to take actions for you. Remember, are the investments equal to the returns that you are receiving? And the knowledge that you receive is something worth it at the end. Thank you, and over to the moderator.
If any one of you has any questions to either of the teams, I see one hand has already been raised. Sai Sudan, can you please let me know which is the team to which you would like to pose your question?
My question is to the proposition team.
Sure, please make sure that your question is concise and precise. Go ahead.
Yes, I heard arguments from the proposition team that having a degree will help you get a higher designation in any profession. Right? Those were the arguments that were surrounded I mean, that were given by the proposition team. My question is that does higher designation in the profession is equal to being successful in life? Because that is what the motion of the debate says. That's my question.
Can I answer that question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sai Sudan, I think the statement that we made was not that a higher designation is equal to success, or that a college degree gets you a higher designation. It actually gets you to your desired goal. If I want to be a doctor, it is not a higher designation or something. It is a mission, or this is what I want to do in life. And there is no other way. At least today, we are not talking about some other era or planet. We are talking about today. There is only one way to become a doctor, and that is through a college degree, which is this thing, which is a long, maybe expensive, but there is no alternative. Why do people put the money? People were asking, is it a worthy investment? Now, the point is, we have these brilliant fellows like Dhirubhai Ambani. He put the money down. He is one of the smartest investors. He put the money down for his kids to study in Harvard. So these prestigious institutions and the degrees that they offer seem to have a value even in the eyes of pure hardcore businessmen. They seem to feel that the investment is definitely worth it because of the returns. And as far as whether the degree it has a value or not, you see, you go to Apollo Hospital, you go to Continental Hospital. These are the biggest hospital. You go to these are reputed because they do the due diligence. They employ people with these higher degrees, which you are asking, and they pay their doctors also very well. So you can charge a much higher fee when you're sitting in Apollo Hospital than if you were to sit in Sudhakar nursing home. I don't know if there is such a place, but yes, your high degree gets you into a big hospital, a big corporate hospital. They look for those degrees, and then you get successful in even in the ordinary terms of money and prestige and fame. Thank you.
Okay, my question is, getting a degree successfully is what the social validation is all about. So how can you convince me in these contemporary times saying that if you don't have a degree, you are not successful?
Yeah, that's what we've been speaking from last 1 hour, right, Sai? So even if you don't have a degree, you are still successful, because successful, so actually Oxford Dictionary says success means achievement of, whatever your goals and purpose, whatever. So if my goal is to be, being happy and healthy, so even though healthy is not the context like said, but if that was my goal, so a degree is not needed. If my goal is to become a public speaker, I don't need any degree. If I want to become a debater, that is my aim. So then only I become a successful debater. I don't need a degree. So there are so many such scenarios. So though the debate revolved around only limited sample set of limited professions, if we talk in general, we have a lot of professions out there like tourists, or if I want to become a foreign language trainer, or if I want to become a software developer, and all like trainer, all those things which most of the population of India are possessing. You don't need a college degree, then you are still successful.
Okay. My question to the opposition is that don't you think having a degree, certified degree to your profile opens doors to to higher opportunities and be happier and successful later in life? First, you might get a degree and then work for some time, and then you be successful later in life. As Prasad sir said, that you might get a higher designation just from the reference of the DGP point of view that Prasad sir has said. Don't you think having a degree or certificate at the beginning opens the doors towards a successful life later? That's my question.
Can I take Priya? Yeah.
Yes, please, sir.
I don't think so, Sai Sudan. So even if you take the current example of DGP, so if you see, let's go with the facts. How many constables are in this working in our India? How many SICAs are there? Or now let me talk about how many DGPs are there in the country. So that is the fact that you want to take. So not all the constables can become the DGPs, even if they have all the PGs, double degrees, triple degrees, and all those things. So that is the first thing. Second thing, if you want to become a go ahead up in the profession, degree is not only the thing. So they will look into the performance within the company. So just because if you become an MBA grad on all those things, if you directly ask, okay, let me become the CEO of the company, because CEO just completed the graduation, I completed the post graduation, I have so many degrees, so let me become the CEO. So that's not the things work, right? So even if you will definitely work on the performance, even if you let me talk about this simple case of the DGP. They will look into your performance, how many cases you have solved, how many what is your physical performance, physical fitness, how many cases you have solved, what is your success rate, how you can handle situations under pressure. So all these things will help you to become successful in, for example, to become a DGP. So in our, if for example, if you have a college degree from an engineering college, they will not teach you how to solve a case. They will not teach you how to run 5 km to morning. So all these things you will learn by experience. So these things will not necessarily taught in the school, not taught in the college, and those degree will not open the doors, and you will definitely directly become all those things. If that is the case, we have more number of students, even at the late of 50s, 60s, people will still be doing degrees. But that is not the case. Hardly 25, by 30 of days, people stop studying and pursuing education. So later they're focusing on more experiential learning. So that is what my point.
Now here it is. To all the judges, please vote again using the link that I've provided initially. Thank you so much, people. Now that was a wonderful debate. We've had some good arguments and counter arguments from both the sides, the proposition team and the opposition team. And here are the results. So this is how the stance of the 5 judges was before the debate started. 100% people thought that college degree is not necessary for success in life. And after our debate, 40% of the people have changed, of the judges have moved from one side to the other side, which means that proposition team is the winner team for today's debate. Congratulations, proposition team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure being the moderator for this particular debate. Now, with that thing being said, I would just like to emphasize on one thing that I initially said. Now, the next debate, we have something to announce. So we are thinking of making sure that our next debate happens on a grand scale. So please do not miss out on attending our next debate. Now, with that thing being said, I'd like to formally close this debate. So first question that you people might have in the back of your mind might be, why debate? Why debate? Now, the importance of opinion sharing, the importance of objecting assertively, and the importance of respecting others' perspective is central to effective interpersonal communication. But why SDC is a question that you might have. Our vision answers that question of yours. Our vision is to help individuals become better at listening to and critically analyzing the arguments and articulating their ideas with greater confidence. Now, it has been a while that we have started conducting our debates on a fortnightly basis. We have almost conducted 18 debates until now. This is our 19th debate. If you'd like to watch any of our previous debates, search on YouTube for Hyderabad Debating Community, and you'll see a plethora of videos right in front of you, all on diverse topics.